Hey ladies, I'm so excited to reach out to you again. Today's Thursday and I have missed you terribly. We've been now 4 days since our incredible weekend together, and if you're like me, you're still recovering and maybe you still have some bags going on under your eyes. And for me, I'm okay with that because every time I look at these little bags and I hear this raspy voice going on, I'm reminded of what a great time we had at Lake Junaluska, just digging into who God created us to be and having that encounter with Jesus that changes our lives. So I've been sitting here, and we live in a neighborhood that's under construction, as you can tell, and there's some boards and things banging around, and I was like, oh, maybe I should wait and do the video like when they take a break later this morning. But this is life, and we talked about just going forward in the middle of life because we're solid in our foundation of who we are, and so we're just going to go forward. So apologies for the noise and apologies for the guys hauling that wood around out there. So we had such a great time, and as I just have been asking Jesus, like, what did you do this weekend with these women and with me? Because we all get our encounter. We all have that moment where we meet Jesus. And trust me, I did too. And I'm just really grateful for that. So I had some thoughts, and many of you have been texting me and emailing me and leaving me messages on Facebook, and I love hearing back from you because in my heart, in my identity, I'm an encourager, and sometimes encouragers need encouragement too, and y'all have been very encouraging to me. And I was sharing with one of you on the phone the other day something that I knew I wanted to share with everyone. So video for me is the best way to do that. And so here, I just wanted to unpack some things because I'm all about like next step kind of strategies and what's, as a friend of mine says, what's the next wise thing to do? What's the next little step that I can take? Because I believe in the process of, get a strategy for a next step, take the action, assess it, pray, get a strategy for the next step, because God says in the Psalms, He is a lamp unto our feet. And that means like we take one step and then we take one step and then we take one step, because these things, while they seem they happen overnight, it's really the sum total of a whole bunch of next step kind of strategies. So as I have been praying for you this week, and really that's just distracting me, so we need to just do this because I can see those guys. How can I encourage you in these few days after the retreat to just really maintain and hold the ground that we gained, because we definitely don't want the thief stealing that away from us. And I was reminded of Revelation 22. And I'll tell you that as I opened my Bible this morning, this guy popped out. Remember him? Matt Tommy. And if you haven't checked out his website, theworshipstudio.com, if you haven't looked into his artist mentoring program, and that website is matttommymentoring.com, please pull this card out, go check out his stuff, because I know he's got a really great program going on there that is worth its weight in gold to all of us creatives. So Revelation 22 is probably one of my favorite texts in the Bible. And this is what John saw in Revelation 22 that he recorded. And he showed me a pure river of water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding from the throne of God and from the Lamb. And in the middle of the street, on either side of the river, was the tree of life, which bore 12 fruits, each tree yielding its fruit every month. The leaves of the trees were for the healing of the nations. So each so here we are, and I want you to envision yourself in this river, because most of the time, what I've observed and what I hear other people who have greater vision and influence than me, what I hear them observing and what I've observed and what I have experienced myself is most of the time we're in this river of life with, God in heaven, and we're actually facing away from it. Now, this is a picture that comes out of the Prosperous Soul book by Stephen De Silva, but it's powerful. So listen to this for just a second. So we're in this river of life that flows out from underneath the throne of God, and over the river is the tree of life on both sides, and it's dropping its fruit in the river in season, which means in the proper season, in the season that we need it, in the season that heaven knows they're going to need this, they're going to need this. So it drops it in season. But the problem is when we're in the river, if we're facing the opposite way from the throne, in other words, if the throne and the trees are behind us, then as these things that are flowing in the river, which are like resources for us to take for the healing of the nations, as these things are coming by, we don't see them until they're in our periphery, and by the time we see them and identify them, they're already past us. And if you've ever tried to, swim with the tide and grab something, you never seem to quite get up and catch a hold of it. So the encouragement to you and the word for you as we walk out these next days after our retreat together is, in the river, turn around so that you're facing the throne of God, so that when you are facing the throne of God and you're facing the trees of life hanging over that are dropping this fruit, you can see what's coming, because you're in a season. We're always in a season, and heaven is ready, willing, and able to equip you with what you need. So think about the fruit that's coming from these trees and the things that are coming out from underneath the throne of God, the river of life, the river of life is teeming with things that bring us life, things that we need, the resources that we need. So when you can see it, when you're facing the throne and you can see it, then you can say, oh, wow, I know that I am called to do this. I know that in this season, my passion is to do this. And here comes a resource that I need. And so you can position yourself to receive it. Do you see the picture? So you're in the river and you see what's coming down the river toward you, and you can decide, I need that. I need to scooch over to this side a little bit so I can catch it as it comes by. And this stuff that's coming this way, I don't feel like I need that right now, so I'm just going to let it go. See, there's freedom in knowing your identity. There's freedom in knowing your calling, because now your yes can be yes and your no can be no. And you can partner with heaven. As heaven brings these resources to you, you can partner with heaven to be like, oh, I need that. Now, it may be a weekend away like we just had, because some of you have messaged me and said, I needed this. This was my next step resource. And so for those women standing in the river and seeing the conference in social media and thinking, I really need to be there, that's my next step kind of thing. And for some of you, it may be Matt Tommy and connecting with him here. For some of you, it may be connecting with one of the artisans online and saying, hey, when you set up your mentoring thing or your next deal, I'd like to be there. Please add me to your list. Please add me to your email list, or message me, or follow Teresa Harvard Johnson, some of these people that post such great stuff online. Because I know for a fact that some of these artists are planning some stuff that will get launched this winter. Melissa Rogers, Christina Tyler, Jenny is always doing stuff online. So consider what your next steps might be and look to see what heaven is bringing your way, because it's bringing stuff all the time. And and it's just time to turn around in the river and face the throne. So that's my word for you today. I hope that makes sense. It's just kind of raw and real. So message me again. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know how we can pray for you. I know the intercessors are still praying and covering you in these days following our weekend together, because this is the time when really a lot of that stuff we just gained ground on can get challenged. So I love you. Again, this is just celebration of where we were this past weekend. So we'll talk to you soon. Be blessed.